Previously, I have ranked all melee and ranged weapons for RimWorld, and a couple of days ago I have also ranked all positive traits. Today, we're ranking all negative traits for RimWorld colonists. Now keep in mind, this is my personal selection where the traits lie, because traits like Cannibal doesn't really have anything too bad going around them, but in real life, a Cannibal, it's more of a negative thing. That's why I put them amongst negative traits and I'm ranking them with them. Naturally, a couple of days when I was ranking the positive ones, we have seen a lot of S and A tier traits and less C and F. Since these are the negative ones, we can expect more C and F traits and a bit less S and A, but there will be traits in all of these columns. So now that we have that out of the way, let's begin. We begin with Abrasive. This trait has been a pain in the butt for as long as I remember in RimWorld, because these people just like to slight and insult others and then get into social fights. What is there? What's wrong with you people? You belong to F. That's where you are. Next, we have Annoying Voice. This just means all of the colonists are gonna like this person less. No ifs, ands, and buts. They're just gonna like them less. I'm gonna put it into C tier. Then we have Bloodlust. The only negative to Bloodlust is that these people are more likely to social fight, and we know that Abrasive can be obnoxious with that, but Bloodlust has so many good things going about it. It has a mood buff for wearing human leather. I mean, that's not that amazing, but the biggest thing over here is that they actually get buffs, mood buffs, if they see strangers die or if they're the ones killing strangers. And this is RimWorld, which means you're gonna be fighting a lot. So you're gonna have a lot of use for your bloodlusty person. They also don't mind if people get their organs harvested and such. And Bloodlust, in my opinion, is just S tier trait. Next we have Cannibal. Just like bloodlusty people, they get a mood buff for wearing human leather apparel. They also get a huge mood buff for eating raw human meat or for eating cooked human meat. Now, unless you have a full colony of cannibals, this is not going to be that practical, because even though like bloodlusty and psychopath people can butcher other people without having any negative thoughts, all normal people will have negative thoughts. So cannibals in that regard are not that amazing. We're gonna put them into B tier. Then we have Chemical Fascination. This means they have their new chemical need and they will want drugs all the time. This can be a problem early on in the colony when you don't have your colony set up properly yet. You might not have drugs prepared because it wasn't your highest priority. So these guys will get unhappy about that. But if you give them drugs, they'll be happy. They can also go on binges, which could be problematic. They love binging on drugs. And if you are making some very nice expensive drugs just for selling them, and these guys go and snort all of that and get addicted to them, can be really problematic. So it's a bit of an annoying thing. We're gonna put it out here into C tier. And then we have the Chemical Interest. These guys just work pretty much the same as Chemical Fascination, but their mood buff from drugs is smaller, but also their mood debuff from not getting drugs is smaller. So it's a less risk than Fascination, so we'll put them together into C tier. Then we have Creepy Breathing, which is basically the same as Annoying Voice. People will like you less. That's really all there is about. These guys are not gonna be the most popular people in the colony. Then we have Depressive. Depressive is the worst version of Pessimist that we're gonna have later down the line. They have a permanent -12 mood debuff, which can be really annoying. As we had in positive traits, we had Sanguine, which is permanent +12. This one is constant -12, which can really cause some issues, but it is still doable, especially, later in the colony when you have a really beautiful colony and everything they will ever want. So put it into C tier and not into F. Next, we have Greedy. These guys are gonna have a slight mood debuff if they don't get at least slightly impressive bedroom. This can be a bit annoying early on, but slightly impressive bedrooms can be really doable pretty fast in the colony, so it's not even that bad. We'll put it into B tier. These are not the worst. Then we have Jealous People. Let me just say that, F those people. If you have two of them, you'll never be able to satisfy them both, because they get a -8 mood debuff if they don't have the best bedroom. there's always gonna be somebody with the best one. You know? Jealous people, you guys are obnoxious, going to F tier. Next we go with lazy. The work speed is lowered by 20%. This is just a bad trade. It's really not gonna punish you in any visible way, but all the work they do is gonna be 20% slower, and it's just obnoxious. We don't like it. It's gonna go out here into F tier as well. Then we have Masochist. Masochist gives people mood buffs if they are in pain. Even if they're in like just tiny, slight pain, they'll get a +5. And then if they're in reasonable, I think like medium pain, it's already +10 and then onwards to glory. Masochist in RimWorld is great because RimWorld is full of pain by itself. You will have old scars, you'll have old wounds, you'll have people getting hurt constantly. Masochists are gonna be loving this. We're gonna put this into S tier. Next we have Misandrist. This person will have a lowered opinion of all the men in the colony. So kind of like annoying voice and creepy breathing. These are not as bad as those because, you know, in this case that person will be hated by everyone. In this case, this person will be hating all the men. Then we go same with the misogynist, but in this one it's this person will be hating all the women. So just one person hating everybody else. It's not that bad, but there's nothing good coming from these traits either. So we're gonna put them into C tier. Then we have nervous. Nervous, this means that the mental break threshold is slightly higher. It is the better version of volatile. But nervous, you know, there's a higher chance of breaks, but since it's only like, I don't think 8% or something like that, if you have a beautiful colony and you take care of your colonists, this is really doable, just like greedy over here. It's a very doable trait that you can live with. Unlike some of these, like misandrist, misogynist, annoying voice, creepy breathing, there's nothing you can do to fix these. But nervous, greedy, you can. So nervous is B tier. Now neurotic, mental break threshold, as with nervous, is slightly higher, but this one does have a bonus to it. The work speed, the global work speed is increased by 20%. I mean, we already know that that is an amazing trait in itself. Sure, you're gonna get a bit of a mental break risk with it, but it's actually amazing. We're gonna put it into A tier. Pessimist is the better version of depressive. This one is constant -12. This is constant -6. That one is very much doable, just like greedy and nervous. You know, when your colony gets going a bit and you have all the things that you can offer to your colonists, that can easily be negated. So we'll put this one into B tier. Then we go psychopath. These people don't mind butchering other people, don't mind the organs being harvested. They are basically bloodlust person, but without the good mood buffs that the bloodlust gets, you know, for hurting others or seeing others be hurt. So psychopath is actually really solid because, you know, who doesn't like a good old psychopath in your colony? But it's not as good as bloodlust, so we'll put it up here into A tier instead of S. Then we go to psychically hypersensitive and psychically sensitive. Start with the hyper one first. These things are real bad because it increases your psychic sensibility by 80%, which means, you know, in a year or two when the colony is bigger and such, you'll get the constant high psychic drones, and this is gonna drive these people mad. They will break all the freaking time when that happens, and it's just, you know, it's really painful for them, and there's not that much you can do. So I really dislike these, as you've seen in my positive traits, where I really like psychically dull and deaf people. I really dislike psychically hypersensitive. We're gonna put this down in the F tier, and the psychically sensitive is just a bit above it. Those two are definitely bottom of the list. Next we have Pyromaniac. I never really disliked Pyromaniac too much. It was always just meh, fine with me. But I understand the community and all the hate they have for Pyromaniacs. The only good thing is they get like +5 mood buff if they have an incendiary weapon, like an incendiary launcher. But nobody should really use that as a weapon anyway, so there's no bonuses from it. And when they go on breaks, they can burn stuff down. And they're incapable of firefighting, which is, in my opinion, the most annoying thing. So yes, Pyromaniacs are also F tier, but they're, let's be real, they're not the worst thing ever. Next we go to slothful. Slothful is a worse version of lazy. Their global work speed is lowered by 35%. Once again, not a trait you really notice. It's not in your face and flashy, but your people are going to be doing so much less work with this one. It just stacks up over the years in game. I think it's really bad and annoying trait. We'll put it down here into F tier as well. Next we have slow learner. This is obnoxious because all of your learning skills, your XP is going to be lowered, and you really don't want that for any of your skilled people. It can be doable because it's not as bad for people like haulers and people who clean, basically menial tasks. People with that are not really going to get affected with this. So this is if you put people that have this into proper position, it's almost as there is no trait. So we're gonna put this into B tier. Next we have slowpoke. This is the opposite of fast walker. Your people will walk 0.2 cells per second slower, which means there's a greater chance they will be caught by mad animals, and you don't really want these people for haulers or something like that. If you put this, or if you have this on like a research or something like that, you're really not gonna notice it. They're just gonna stand there, research, and not move. It's gonna be fine. Still not the worst of the bad traits, so we're gonna put it out here into B tier as well. Next we have sickly. I do not like sickly. Sickly just means that, like, I think every month or so, or every 2 months, something like that, your people can just catch a random disease. That can be really bad and annoying early on when you don't have a proper hospital, a proper medicine, proper doctors. And even later when you do, your people are going to be spending a lot of time in bed if they have this trait, not working, not doing the thing. So I think sickly is a bad F tier trait down here. Next we have staggeringly ugly, which is the opposite trait of beautiful. They colonists get like really bad opinion. Other people really don't like them. It's how it is. If you're staggering ugly, the only person who's gonna like you are the kind people. There's that. But it's really nothing that you can do about it. If they have that trait, they have that trait. We're gonna put it out here into C tier. Then we have Tortured Artist. This is a permanent -8 mood debuff, just like with Jealous if they don't have a good room or the best room. But every time they break, when their catharsis strikes, they can get back and have a revelation and make like the best art piece out there that you can then sell. So Tortured Artist is, it's good with the bad or bad with the good, and then it's up to you to judge it, how useful that is to your colonies. We're gonna put it out here in the middle, somewhere in B tier. Then we go with ugly. This one does not have as much of a penalty as a staggering ugly or as much of a penalty as annoying voice and creepy breathing. It's really not going to have that much effect on the whole game, so we can put it out here into B tier. Then we go with very neurotic, which is the upgrade of neurotic. The mental break threshold is much higher, so these people are definitely going to break more often, which I personally don't like, but you get plus 40% global work speed. So these guys are really, really hard workers, which I am like, you know what? I will risk your breaks if you work this hard. Very neurotic, we're gonna put it up here into A tier. Next we have volatile. Volatile is the worst version of nervous. It's like very neurotic, but without the good traits. So, there's just a much higher chance this person is gonna break. So we're gonna put it down here into C tier. Last, and certainly the least, we have wimps. I don't like wimps. RimWorld, there's guns everywhere, there's swords everywhere, there's damage and danger everywhere, and if you fall down to the ground at the merest touch and merest pain, well, then you suck and really shouldn't be in that colony. In my opinion, wimp is straight up F tier trait, and I really don't like it. Also, I just realized I put depressive, which is -12 constant mood debuff, above jealous, which is -8 constant mood debuff, but you can actually deal with jealous. But you know what? Fuck jealous people. Let them stay in the F. There you go. There's my ranking. Let me know how much you agree with it. Let me know what would you put into S tier, what would you put into F tier, and which of my picks do you strongly disagree with. Thank you for watching. If you haven't checked the positive traits yet, check them up here, and I'll see you next time.